all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning to everyone tuning in. It is the start of a brand new week and I am Hermes Fatakia, back to tell you all that you need to know on the 15th of March. First up, India reported the highest number of coronavirus cases in nearly 3 months, with the active caseload crossing the mark of 2 lakh. Over 25,000 new cases were reported as of 8 a.m. on Sunday, as per Health Ministry data. Cases in Maharashtra continue to rise as well, with the state reporting close to 17,000 new cases on Sunday, with Mumbai accounting for nearly 2,000 of them. Former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan has cautioned that drastic changes in India's monetary policy framework can upset the bond market. His remarks were in response to a query on whether he was in favor of reviewing the 2 to 6% target band for inflation under the monetary policy framework. The current medium-term inflation target, which was notified in August 2016, ends on the 31st of March, and the inflation target for the next 5 years is likely to be notified this month. Speaking of inflation, retail inflation rose in February after falling for 3 straight months. Consumer Price Index stood at 5.03% as compared to 4.06% in January. The figure was in line with the 5% estimate by a Bloomberg poll of 33 economists. The Index of Industrial Production, or IIP, fell 1.6% in January as manufacturing and mining sectors reported a drop in activity. An economist's poll conducted by Bloomberg had pegged January IIP to grow at 1%. India's foreign exchange reserves have surpassed Russia's to become the 4th largest in the world, according to RBI data. Forex reserves for the week ending the 5th of March stood at 580.3 billion, ahead of Russia's 580.1 billion. India now ranks 4th behind China, Japan, and Switzerland. The government has planned to sell its residual stake in the already privatized airports of Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad. 2 people aware of the deliberations at the Empowered Committee of Secretaries told PTI of the sale of Airport Authority of India's stake in the 4 airports, along with the fact that 13 other airports have been identified for privatization in FY22. The issue is likely to go for cabinet approval in the next few days. The Civil Aviation Ministry has invited bids for around 392 new routes under the UDAN scheme. The UDAN 4.1 round will be focused on connecting smaller airports along with special helicopter and seaplane routes. The latest bidding process is likely to be completed in the next 6 weeks. I have plenty of IPO updates for you today, and there are going to be lots of them this week. I'll first talk about the IPOs that are opening for subscription today. First up, Lakshmi Organic Industries 600 crore issue opens for subscription today. The specialty chemical maker will be selling shares between 129 to 130 rupees each during its 3-day issue. The second company which launches its IPO today is Craftsman Automation. The 824 crore issue has a price band between 1,489 to 1,490 rupees per share, and this will be the first issue by an auto component maker in the last 3 years. More from the IPO space, Anupam Rasayan's IPO was fully subscribed on the first day of bidding. Overall subscription stood at 1.32 times, with the retail portion being subscribed over 2.5 times. Institutional and non-institutional subscription remained negligible. And lastly, MTAR Technologies will be listing on the bourses today. The 3-day IPO was subscribed 201 times, making it the most subscribed issue in over 3 years. In some corporate news, the government will be exiting its entire investment in Tata Communications as per the company's exchange filing. The government currently holds close to 7.5 crore shares in the company, of which will be selling 4.6 crore shares or 16.1% of the total stake through an offer for sale. Post the OFS, the remainder of the stake will be sold to Tata Sons investment arm Panatone Finvest, which currently holds close to 35% stake in the company. Axis Bank has signed a pact to acquire 9.9% stake in Fettletone LLP, which owns a majority stake in Max Bupa Health Insurance. Axis Bank will contribute 91 crore rupees to the partnership capital of Fettletone, according to an exchange filing. The acquisition is expected to be completed by Wednesday, the 17th of March. Fettletone is a special purpose fund set up by True North Fund and holds 55.6% stake in Max Bupa Health Insurance. Elsewhere, Bitcoin crossed the $60,000 mark over the weekend, hitting an all-time high of $61,742. The cryptocurrency has opened marginally lower this morning. Oil prices too continue to edge higher, with the West Texas Intermediate trading near the $66 per barrel mark, while the Brent variant closing near the mark of $70 per barrel. With that, I head over to Neeraj Shah for the trade setup of the day. Morning, Neeraj. We had a sharp sell-off towards the second half on Friday. How are we set up for the new week?
Well, Asia is pointing to a mixed opening, so you have to keep that in mind. But the Dow futures are doing okay, so that's good news. But I want to start off with a dire warning. Most of Italy, including its capital Rome and the financial center Milan, will have curbs on business and environment intensified from Monday as the government ramps up their efforts to stem the steady rise in coronavirus cases. The country will also be placed under a nationwide lockdown over the Easter weekend. And we're seeing a lot of other countries in Europe contemplating such moves. Even back home, in the view of the rapidly rising COVID cases in the state, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray directed hotels and restaurants, for example, to adhere to COVID-19 protocols and not force the concerned authorities to enforce desperate measures like a complete lockdown. Remember, today is the 355th day since India implemented a nationwide lockdown last year to help curb the pandemic cutting. And on Sunday, we recorded 25,000 or over 25,000 new COVID infections, which is the highest daily rise in 84 days. So we are looking at possibilities of lockdowns, which might disrupt the party a little bit. But as long as the vaccination goes on plan, maybe the outlook will not be as dire as it was in March last year. As I said, the early risers in Asia are mixed, and it'll be interesting to see how we do in the session. Just keep in mind that the Dow futures are trading positively and indicating a strong start currently, so that may come to the rescue even if we were to start flat to marginally lower. It is a busy week. 5 IPOs hit the markets this week, and a 6th one is going on, which will have an impact on liquidity possibly. There is a Fed policy meet on Wednesday, which people will wait for some expectations. Despite I don't know what Jerome Powell can really do in terms of saying something new. But let's wait and watch. And there's also a week where PSUs like GAIL and BPCL will declare dividends. I reckon BPCL will take into consideration only the treasury stake sale and not the Numaligarh refinery sale. And therefore, the dividend may not be very hefty, like 60 rupees or thereabouts. But maybe they'll declare dividend, which is northwards of 25, 26 rupees, which is what the calculations suggest might come because of the treasury stake sale. Anyways, that's tomorrow. Today, GAIL will declare the dividend. And people will be watching out for a bunch of stocks in which some business activity is expected to end in the month of March. Maybe this week you could hear something about Tata Power, Invit, or some such. So all of those would be in focus. But PSUs remain in play. Specialty chemicals remain in play because of the IPOs at hand. And we'll have one of the niche IPOs in Nazara coming this week with a gaming company getting listed. So that should provide some excitement. All in all, a busy week. Stay safe. Please wear your masks. Thanks for tuning into the podcast.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.